If it has not become apparent already, I have long been pleased with Alice in Chains' music and the videos thereof. So the video for Again has some messages on the chalkboard. And, there's a bunch of guys going around with the red robes and the hooks and the symbols on the wall and all that. But that's perhaps maybe another video to talk about. Probably not. But so what you see on the board, kind of for good or bad, for benefit or for harm, it's sort of an outline of how to operate or be a part of a cult. Now, in being part of a cult, it's certainly your personal responsibility to go through the steps or to actualize the steps. So, what do we have here? We have support. So, can you support the teachings? Do the teachings support you? Can you trust them? Does it hold you back in some way? Particularly when there's some sort of vice that gets you in trouble or hurts you. What are you controlling as a result of the teachings? Is your concern in alignment with the teachings? So some things are some individuals that you respected, perhaps now you don't. Or perhaps because of the lack of respect, it's leading you in a new direction. And then you move to the stage where you have truly undergone a paradigm shift. The mental construction of consciousness has changed. And then you form your pact. You know what your pact is, and you're more fully taking it on now. And you're continuing to learn how to enhance and ascend or descend, however you want to phrase it. And you've learned how to calm yourself or produce other sensual and psychiatric states as a result of involving oneself in these. But as far as a group, you may see some differences with the messages on the chalkboard with Again. Yeah, and some cults aren't religious per se. Some of them are drug rehabs. But love bombing and supporting the good and truth in people would be a way that the group shows itself. That a group attracts itself. And by allowing a person to have faith, they would show that they are trustworthy in one way or another. But some groups, they will stop you in one way or another from going to certain things or certain places. But there are other methods of control too. And perhaps they're showing concern for you. Maybe it's just your membership or something that you bring to the group that they have a concern of. And if they don't show you proper respect, that may be left to feel it's your personal lacking. And perhaps a negative side to follow could be some sort of your sense of self. They want to lower that in comparison. Any anything that you feel that you have more than the group, they kind of want to minimize that. They may want to take advantage of it, but they want to minimize it so you feel like perhaps that you can't go off and function on your own. And sometimes it's through psychological or spiritual threats, but there'll be terms. They will ask you to, there are certain terms that they will ask of you. Financial, physical, by practices, whatever, but they want you to make a commitment. And then they will further educate you in what tends not to be stuff that you wouldn't know exists, but they're going to tell you stuff, and sometimes it's a little, okay, there's public material of a group, and the private material is just like, oh, in the inner planes, there's this being called this and this and this, and little details like that. But the basic stuff that they're doing, you're going to know before that. And then they might work you into states that you're not even trying to, or sometimes people are drugged. But fortunately, in this age, when people are drugged, we're talking, you're talking something along the lines of up to 10 years in prison in some states for drugging people against their will. Now, if you slip it in and it's not forced by physical force, it's an easy 5 years in prison. So there are certain things that for legal or moral or intellectual reasons that a person may not want to engage in, but there's certain techniques.